guys, welcome to Black with Sugar, your weekly podcast with Nadia Itasan and Kezia Mac.
Hello guys, how are you?
Kezia, today.
Yes,
What
today.
is the subject of today?
Today I want to talk about being a feminist. Why? I'm going to tell you why. I was scrolling to my Instagram and, looking at people post. And I end up on the page of a Senegalese writer. Her name is Fatou Ndeye Khan. And she's a feminist. And I was
Are you a feminist?
That's my point. I was kind of scrolling to her page. She's a writer, very super talented woman. And I was asking myself, like, are you a feminist, Keza? Like, are you a feminist? And thinking about that, I was like, I don't really think I am.
Do you think people assume you're a feminist because you have a magazine? And that,
That's a good question.
You encourage a lot of women and, generally feminists are strong women.
Absolutely. No,
absolutely.
Absolutely. Maybe people have that idea of me, but when I think about it myself, I don't feel like I am a full-on feminist. I'm all for women empowerment. I'm all for, women equality at work, especially like if you do a job, you deserve that pay and that's it. It's no question about men.
Anybody deserves to be paid.
Anybody deserves to be paid. So for me, that's...
You mean like if you do the same job as the men, you deserve to
absolutely,
have the same pay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
If not more money, because you probably do the job better too. So depending on, but there's a lot of things where I feel like there's this fight between men and women, and it's more like we are at war. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
No, I totally get it because personally, I'm not a feminist. It depends because I think it depends of what's the definition that you put on it.
Yeah.
But like you say, I feel like there's this connotation with feminism where, to me, it feels like it's a war against men, and I don't want to be at war.
I don't want to be at war either.
I don't want to have a say that women are better than men or anything. I don't think so, and I don't know, when you look at the femen, was it the femen that they hang out naked every time to
march,
clothes?
yeah.
I'm like, this is to me it's totally nonsense. Like, you can say the same things with their clothes on, I guess.
You could.
But they want the shocked effect. But just put something on,
Yeah. Good. Yeah, put something on.
But yes, I actually think that in Africa we don't see feminism in the same way.
I don't think it's the same way. Obviously, things are changing, and maybe, but I think in general, in Africa, men and women still have a different purpose, a different role.
It's a traditionalist
it's
continent.
it's a more traditional.
Traditional.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm more comfortable with that. And that doesn't mean that, to me, it doesn't mean that a woman is submissive. It just means that we have a different role in the couple or even in society, It doesn't mean that women will be paid less or they will be regarded as being like a second-hand citizen. Not at all. You're like, you full on, you have your part, this part, we're just different people. That's how I feel.
No, I think for me, it's simple. I think men and women have two different purposes. We not build the same. We're not here to do the same things or the same jobs. We're handling things differently. So we will never be equal in the sense that we don't have the same purpose. That's it. That's my thought on it. You know what I mean?
Okay. I will not say that we're not equal. I think we
are equal, but we have different purpose.
Okay. Different function.
Different function. Yeah. I think.
But I think this is more in the personal part,
Yeah.
Because in society, I think, it's pretty much the same. But I think in the personal part, for me, in society, that a woman can be a teacher, can be anything.
She can be
a
anything.
man can be, right?
Anything.
And even in Africa, it's the same things. I feel like, although it's like there's a lot of places where it's not, certain jobs are less accessible to women, or even education in Africa is not as accessible to women.
Which is a problem.
Yes, that's the problem. So, but for me, it doesn't I don't need to be a feminist to fight for, women's rights.
For women's right. Yeah. I completely agree with that.
I feel like I'm going to say that in at least in the way I was brought up, my dad has a role, my mom has a role. I was lucky to have both parents, but also this has a play in society nowadays because a lot of kids, they don't have, they don't have
both parents.
Heterosexual parents. Sometimes you have no dads, no mom, or two dads and two mom, and so so I think that raised a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky enough where I have a mom and dad, and in Moroccan, I can speak for myself. So in Moroccan household, the man is kind of the one who take care,
the provider
of the family. Although but women can work. It's not my mom worked. My mom was totally free to do pretty much whatever she wanted. But regarding the decision of big decision, generally it would be my dad. There were conversations between them.
Yeah.
But generally, my dad will have the last word.
So question, when you say your dad will have the last word, meaning the decision is the one and him and your mom agree on?
No, I'm going to explain you what it is. Because Moroccan women are very smart. So it means you let the man believe that he has the last word. But of course,
he doesn't.
You influence him, So honestly, I feel like if my mom was for it, my dad will be.
Okay, I get it.
Because she's doing the convincing. It was very rare that my dad will not be convinced by my mom. So I don't know which charm she was using, but it worked, And I think it's like this in a lot of, freaking couple.
Yeah.
I guess, women use the charm when they want something. And yes, I mean, and we kind of make believe the guy is the boss because we protect men's ego, because the men need to feel like he is the one who provide, is the boss. And so we learn how to let men be a man, and we are the women, And I think in our case in Morocco, and I think in a lot of countries also in Africa,
yeah,
where women, we like to be women, we like to be feminine, and we don't mind having this women, rolled inside of the couple, meaning that you cook, you take care of the kids,
Yeah.
I think it's almost something natural,
It is,
we don't even wonder so much about it.
Yeah.
And I feel that now in Western society, everything started to
shift.
Yes. And although, of course, I'm all for women to work and, be independent and make as much as men. But I do feel sometimes also when, let's say in a couple where the man makes more money than the women, I generally don't feel that the man is belittling. You say like this, belittling, when you belittle someone, belittling. You say like this. I'm not sure my pronunciation is right. Sorry, guys. But what I mean is like making feel less than who the person is. So I don't think that they're doing that to the women. Although I've seen couple when the woman is working and make more money than the guy, then they kind of treat him badly. And I have an example for that.
So I'm going to pause you. I think what you said is probably true, but I'm sure there is men out there that because they make more money, sometimes they do make their wife or girlfriend feel bad because they don't have money.
I don't know. I feel it happens more on the other way around. I think that's my opinion. Maybe I'm totally wrong.
For me, it goes both ways.
I've seen it. I've seen it. I've heard it. I've seen it many times where women make really mean comments to guys when they're making money, and that's just not right. It's not right. A lot of time in feminism, the way they treat men,
it's almost like a payback.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's why why I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I feel like no, this is I don't think it's the way to go at it.
Yeah, I think they need to. For me, most of the, I think when I see situation, I think you need to reconcile with men or women. Meanings like I said in the beginning, feels like we at war, and we shouldn't be at war. We should be able to understand each other. We should be able to find the right balance to be able to be a team, be a unit. Like this 50-50 thing is cute. It depends, but it doesn't work. I
don't like it. No, that's not cute. I don't like it.
But let me finish. I was about to say it's cute, but at the end of the day, I don't know if it's really working. I don't know if it's really working. So, and I think people have in mind where, okay, if we marry, then okay, we have to share this, we have to share that. It's equal. It's like, we don't have to be equal to have a balance. We're not good at everything. Women do things better than men. Men do things better than women. And that's why we come together to form a unit and work together. But this constant fight between men and women, it's just like, I don't feel like this is really,
it's destroying relationship.
It is.
And also the foundation of society. I think there's a lot of things that are put into question. We're changing the dynamic, we
are changing the dynamic.
So like I was telling you, the example that I had was, sometime now you have women that works and the guys stay at home. This woman, she went to the bank with her husband. And the reason actually why her husband was not working is because he's sick. And so she was making a lot of money. They go to the bank, the banker keep looking at the man when they were talking about the mortgage.
Oh.
Because in his mindset,
he was thinking,
which was a mistake too. He should have just looked at both of them. So what do you guys think? And, and switch, But she had the feeling that he was looking more at the man. Him than her and got upset. And then she said, you need to look at me because I am the one making the money. And I can tell you, if a man does that to me, I will be really upset.
That was unnecessary.
Because it's humiliating.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who is making the money. And you know what? And already this man in a situation where he cannot work, and you just make him feel like is just irrelevant. And okay, the banker made a mistake, but you can just politely say, make him understand.
She could have phrased it a different way. Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know. I don't know. I think there is a way to just express it, and even more so, I'm sure the banker would have understood later on, that she was the one making the money.
But you're right on that point where now I see more and more women we see making sometimes more money than the men, and they are really just like, hey, this is my money, I do whatever I want. They're really mean about it. So, yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like men also, they need that. I don't know why.
What do you mean they need that?
I think they need to be the providers. That's what makes them feel like they matters, and that's what they. We women, we procreate, right?
Yeah.
We give life.
Yeah.
And the man needs to feel like, okay, he provide for the procreator. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean.
I am going to provide. I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And I feel that's how, in their DNA, that's how they feel men. And when you take that off of them, then the whole behavior is just changing. Then in the couple, there is like power struggle.
Yes.
About
and that's why.
And it's not about being a submissive woman at all. It's just about knowing, okay, this is like having just a different role in.
Yeah. For example, like when I look at the way I grew up with my parents, not that my parents were doing 50-50, but I know for sure that sometimes my mom was handling things. My dad was handling things. I know as far as us, the kids, my mom was more hands-on. My dad was more hands-on on other things. So you always had that balance where everybody knew their role. And obviously when a decision was needed to be made, they were talking about it and make sure they were on the same page. For example, something very simple, like if we do something bad and we get a punishment, if my mom do something to us or vice versa, they both agree on that already. So it's not like my mom is going to, spank us or whatever, and my dad is gonna come and say something different. They're always on the same. They're always being on the same page as far as us, as far
That's
as
important.
the decision. Yes. So, and I think also seeing us as kids, seeing our parents, and I'm not saying they're perfect. Sometimes they agree to disagree, but when you see that, it gives you a perspective on relationship and how you want to handle your first couple. I know when I get married, I want to have that thing where me and my husband can talk, can make decisions together. I don't need to be your boss. You don't need to be my boss. We working together. And I think that's what people need to get back to work together instead of working against each other or figure out who has the last word, who's doing better, who's more powerful. It's too much.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like in Africa, I mean, we have like traditional society, and I don't think, for example, in Morocco, I think the women are very strong women.
But I was about to tell you, in Africa, I think in general, women are very strong, and they're very respected in the household. Usually, husbands, I know all the Africans, family that I know, husbands are very proud that their wife is the one who handling, the everyday life in home, whether they're working or not. So, like I said, everybody know their role.
You know the interesting things? I feel like in Africa, let's say the 2-person work, I still feels that, and they're making the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. I still feel like there is still this traditional couple, meaning that the man is still the one who will have generally the final words, even if there is negotiation. Like, we let the man be a man.
I mean, if you go to a dinner table in Africa, with my experience, and we talk, the dad is always at the head of the table. So he's presiding. He's chef de famille. Voilà.
That's
the head of the family. Yeah. So, and that's the dynamic that you have in Africa. The husband is the head of the family. It doesn't mean the woman is lesser than him. She's always by his side, and having that role. So, but like we said, the man is the head of the family. And I think living in now Western culture, the woman wants to be the head of the family. It's just fine.
Oh, there's no head.
There's no head. It's like, exactly. So,
but yes, and I think that's exactly what I wanted to express, is that in Africa we still have the head of family. The men still have his men function, and the women function. Yeah. Although you can work and have the same pay, we still let a man be a man. And I think this is really important,
It is important.
Like when I see my mom, she was working. She wasn't making, my dad was making a little bit more, but not that much, But still, my dad was the big boss,
Yeah, at some point, when on the episode 2, I was telling you that we tried to go back to Congo, and my parents lost everything. So when we came back to France, my dad stayed. So my mom basically was ahead of him in Paris, so she was starting to work and everything. So when my dad came back, it took him a couple months to get back on track. So my mom was providing. Mm-hmm. So,
but she never make him feel less than a man.
She never made him feel like, oh, you were in East. So he was still the head of the family. He was still our father. And even though things were rough, I don't feel like my mom was, being annoying or make him feel like, oh, see, you're not working, I'm doing everything, So you can tell. And then we see a couple months after, my dad got his stuff together, back on track, get to work, So,
and people could think it's crazy, because, and it's so interesting. My sister is doing the same, exactly the same model than my mom. So my mom was working, but she would still come home and cook and cook for lunch, cook at night, and it takes time. We were a family of, we were 5 kids, so it's a lot of cooking.
It's like, see my parents.
But she will work at the same time, But my dad, actually, on the weekend will also work. He will never stop to work, So, and I don't know how to say it, but it was still, and my mom took care of everything, meaning. This is very interesting because he let her handle the finances.
Oh, okay. You know what though? There's a lot of, I think, in African culture, women handle the finances, meaning that the men will give you a budget for the week or the month, and then you have to kind of manage.
It's not even the budget. It's just that they shared the same bank account.
So
That's how I grew up. It's like there is no separation in any ways at all.
My parents had separate bank account.
All the money will go to the bank account. And when I say my mom was handling the money, because she's the one who go to the grocery store, so she was budgeting everything and making sure that all the bills getting paid. My dad didn't take care of all of that, and he didn't speak very well French, and he did, even less so reading it. But my mom was she speak completely French, and she read pretty much.
Yeah,
she doesn't read like we read, but she
can handle herself.
Yeah, she can read letters and everything. Sometimes if she might not understand fully everything, but she's pretty good at it. So she was taking care of everything, all the and believe me, in France there's so many paperworks to fill up. So she was taking care of all of this. She will take us to the doctor. She will go to our class meeting, with the teachers and stuff like that. But my dad was still the boss.
Yeah. No, I think it's the same thing where my dad knows how to do everything in the house and cooking, cleaning.
Oh, my dad know how to cook too.
For me, it's like he never lost his position because he cleaned the house or because he cooked or because he's taking care of us. At the end of the day, he's still the dad and he does everything. Both of my parents cook. So most of the time, obviously, it's whoever comes home first, cook dinner. At some point when we were old enough to cook, it was on us. So my dad was cooking on the weekend. Like I said, my dad was doing everything in a house. It doesn't make him a lesser man because he knows how to wash clothes or do the dishes,
But to give an example, for example, I guess with African, how it works. My dad will kill the animals. They will kill the lamb with the ankles. And the women, and then they bring it to the women. Now you cook it.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean? And it's kind of for everything. It was like that. We did our part. Now you guys do your part.
Like we say in the beginning, everybody got a role. So once you know where you play and where your strength is, automatically there's a flow, there's a flow.
When my dad was retired and my mom was still working, actually for lunch, he would prepare food for her.
Oh, see?
Yeah, no, it was.
It's called teamwork.
And it wasn't like, he lost his manhood or anything like this. So there is this misconception that, the women are submissive and they are like the slave of their husband. It's not at all. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist.
Happen.
Yes, I've seen cases. I've seen cases like that. But also generally, it's because the woman is not setting her foot, or the guy, is too imposing, and too much of a stupid macho, right?
Yeah, no.
But generally, a wise person and a well-balanced person, you don't have that. And I think most people are, pretty well-balanced.
No, definitely. But, I think also Western culture is probably a little bit different where, like you said, women wants to be equal everywhere. And I think sometimes they get lost in translation. And sometimes even me, when I look at why they're fighting for, I'm like, is it worth it? So it's like fight for, you say equality at work and things like that. But there's things for me, I'm like, is it really necessary?
I don't know. I just think that the narrative right now, it's like you said, it's some type of a fight with men, like we're in a war, like the war of the sexes.
Yeah.
And it's really not. And some of them, they don't even make sense, because they're like, he doesn't open the door for me, he doesn't do this, and he doesn't, he didn't pay the bills. And, at the same time, she kind of like crushing his manhood. So the guy's like, well, yeah, if you want to be, just go ahead. I went on a date with a guy. It was a blind date. Oh, Jesus. And first of all, he came late, and remember Nespresso at...
Yep, I remember.
All right, so we just go for coffee. It was nothing, and because it was a blind date and I didn't want to go to dinner or anything like that, I was just, okay, I'm going to first see who's this.
You like danger girl, blind date? That's like, whew.
No, there was somebody, somebody set me up.
Okay.
It was a person that I knew. And it's like, I think you might like my friend, but I've never met the person. They just saw it on picture. So the person came, we're going to date. I mean, on a date, it's just a coffee date, and at the end of the coffee, so I got a coffee, maybe a little salad, you got something, and when you got the check, it's like, is that okay for me to pay? And I was like,
yes, it is.
God, yes, of course.
Why you even ask the question?
That's what I said. I looked at him like really, like he was a strange creature. And I said to him, well, yeah, it's expected. I mean, it's coffee, It's not like, I didn't take him to Danielle or something. I wasn't like pushing for an expensive date. So I was like, why is this even, a question? So, and he's like, oh, sorry. It's just because some women, they get offended if I pay. Mom, I was like, I'm not this kind of woman. So
get that check.
I'm definitely not that kind of woman. Because I like to feel that I am the woman, and there's these things of being treated in a very delicate way,
Yeah, but
I like the guy to open the door, and I have absolutely no problem of wanting, of treating a man like you're the man.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is, I'm laughing because the question that you asked me earlier, do you think people that think of me as a feminist because I'm a strong person? And I was like, this is funny because if you see me in a relationship, I'm the most
traditionalist
person,
conservative.
Yeah, I go home, I cook, I clean, and I actually enjoy those things. Like, I hate when women say, "Oh, it's not because I'm a woman that I know that I need to cook or know how to cook." I'm like, girl, you might just want to learn.
Don't you think that maybe it's cultural too, because we were used to see that dynamic with our parents? We are totally wrong and this is totally not unnatural.
Maybe it is cultural, but I feel like I feel better and I feel good about being a woman who can cook, clean, and do everything in the house. And I'm very smart. I have a master in graphic design, so trust me, I spent a whole lot of year in college. But for me, it's important to know how to do those things. Tomorrow, if I'm a mother, I want to know how to feed my kids properly. I just don't want to order food every day. If I'm a wife, I want to cook for my husband. I want to do things like that because I've seen my mom and other women doing that, and it wasn't painful. It wasn't like people now. If they say, "Oh, I cook," "Oh, you cook," it's almost like it's bad. No, it's natural, and I think women need to be okay. Do those things. It doesn't mean you're someone's slave. It doesn't mean that you are. You don't have your position in the house.
No, I understand.
You know what I mean?
But Kizia, you didn't hear my question. What I was saying is, don't you think that we think this way because of our upbringing? We saw parents were different with a certain role, and we think that this is it.
Yeah,
and because it works,
it plays a lot. It plays a lot.
And because thinking about it, I'm like, if I see a man with this, like, the things the dust to dust thing and starting cleaning and do like things that are associated with women stuff, I get turned off, I'd be like,
really?
No, I don't. You don't mind the guy, like,
cleaning or whatever? No.
Cleaning and doing all that stuff?
Not that I don't mind. And for me, it's like, I'm happy that you can do it. Because you need to know,
do it,
but it doesn't mean that
if you're with me, I don't want you to do it. I'm like, let me
I don't mind.
That,
I don't, like I said, I don't mind. Like I told you.
I mean, there is men. The best chef in the world are men. I understand, guys. Of course, I can cook, and I can't really cook, so I'm still learning. No, but what I meant by that is,
it's definitely a cultural thing.
When I see a man doing things that associate with more feminine side,
you turn you. Oh yeah.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I don't feel that way. So, my brother do everything in the house, cook, clean, and everything. My dad is the same. Most of my male friend.
No, but they need to be. Of course, your mom teach your
yeah, but when I see them do those things, it doesn't.
And
really...
your dad. But if your mom is here, who's gonna clean?
Sometimes my dad does. Yeah? If my mom is tired or she worked late night, she's not going to get up out of bed and clean. He's going to handle that, or we see they have 2 children, so
yes, no, but that I understand. But what I'm saying, like,
so that's why I say it's always it's a teamwork. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say teamwork. If my mom is tired, my dad got it. If my dad is tired, my mom got it, or we got it,
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking maybe we get it wrong in the way that because our viewpoint is biased and tainted by our
and
experience.
It is because in our culture, I guess years and years ago, they kind of tell you, if you're a woman and you can cook or whatever, nobody's going to marry you. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like we heard that a lot in our culture, where if you don't know how to handle the house, no man wants you, basically. But
true, in Morocco, it's very important that the women learn how to cook. I think,
and you know how African mother are. You're gonna marry their son, and you can do nothing in the house. That's a lot of bad points, and that's why they're not gonna like you.
Yeah.
So
100%, that's true.
But I think I don't feel like, I don't like to be called a feminist, because at the end of the day, for me, it's not about being equal. It's about knowing who you are, knowing your strengths, and figure out, whether it's a personal thing or at work, how you can, teamwork with the other sex versus always fighting,
Because honestly, I mean, to me, I just feel like if a woman work as hard as a man, she should be paid the same.
Absolutely.
I totally agree. I think
and
women should be able to do the same work as men.
Should be able to have the same right. 100% agree. Like they should, as far as all that those things, and again, I guess men came up with those rules, so so that was the problem. And also, how it is in Africa, where when there is education, they always favor guys. So men's automatically go to school more than women. Obviously, it's evolving, but because of that.
But I think it's because of the type of society too. They think that the man is gonna have to earn
the money, is gonna have to
take
do the
care
work.
of his family, and the women, they're gonna marry,
be wife. So they just need to be
Actually, my mom was really not happy about this. Not about the school things, but because of in Islam, the inheritance is it's kind of messed up. That's kind of messed up, but you know what? I understand it.
Explain that to me.
Well, when you receive your inheritance, the boys, like you have kids, you have women and men.
Yeah.
You have son and daughters. The son, I think, take 2 parts of a daughter. Okay. I think everything is divided. And let's say, for example, with me and my sister, when my dad passed away, me and my sister, we get, 4 of us, 1/3. And then my mom get 1/3, and my brother get 1/3.
So basically, you and your sister are splitting that 1/3.
What?
So you and your sister,
yes, we're
you only split that 1/3,
and my brother
get a full 1/3.
Yes.
So that's messed up. Okay. You guys gonna need to fix that. I'm just saying.
But you know what? It's just what it is, and it was written like this.
I mean, see, but
there is way to go around it, because.
Are you gonna fight it?
No, not at all.
So that's my point. So because
you know why I'm not gonna fight it? Because that was my dad's wishes. He could have, when he was alive, he could have changed it if he wanted to. Meaning, and how I say change it, because you can't change a will in Morocco. You can't.
Really? Once it's done, it's done.
Because it's because they follow the Islam rules, right? The Islam rules almost everything, and that's what it's written. However, the way to go around this is, for example, if you know that your son's gonna get more than the daughters, then you can buy land that you put on the name of the daughters.
Okay.
Right, so that they will have equal parts.
That makes sense.
That's how do you do it.
Yeah, okay.
So I knew that my dad was totally entitled to do that if he wanted to. He didn't do it. And I actually don't feel bad at all about this, Okay. I think it makes me laugh. And I mean, it's not like we had a lot. But no, I just wanted my brother to have it, because I think, it's land on top of that, land that need to be worked on. And in the theory of, my dad, I guess, was that, my son's going to have land if he's going to start a family,
Yeah, that makes
to help him. And my daughters, they're probably going to get married. And
so maybe the husband will have those lands.
Guys. Yeah, that's the guys that has to do that.
Yeah.
Everything in Morocco is about the men providing.
But in Africa, when they do the dowry things and everything, they send you off to someone's family. So
I have a question. Depending on the country, I guess sometimes that's the woman giving the
sometimes dowry. The woman, I think depending on the country,
I know
it works both ways, but in general, they send you off in a family. They expect the family to be able to take care of you.
Because I know in India, I think, and in some country in Asia,
the woman paid
yes.
Oh.
It's awful.
No, it's probably possible.
In Morocco, no, the man has to bring gift to...
In Congo, don't forget the whiskey bottle.
Oh, yeah, you have some interesting tradition, right? I saw a documentary about it. Where the
bottle of alcohol, the
groom, we're going to see the family of the bride, and he brings alcohol,
the pine, money, like gift for the mom.
Oh, and all the ants are all around, and they're
everybody's trying to get a cut. Everybody's trying to get a cut.
Is this money normally should go to the bride? Because they all take money, so it's like you have to give money to everybody.
I did one, I guess 2 years ago when my cousin got married, and since we don't have much family in the States, so I was, I guess, the one to go with him with my aunt, and it's the same thing where he came, he had like a couple bottles, he had like the pine for all the aunties, like not even the gift for his future wife, but the mom got some pine, the mom's sisters got their stuff, then he gave the money. I guess they split the money together. So all the gift basically was for them, was for them to say, hey, So that was interesting. But yeah.
But don't you think also in Africa, I'm sorry, you're kind of like deviating a little bit of the subject.
We're getting back. We're getting back.
But in Africa, for women to feel love, generally it goes through money and gift.
I don't know if it's to feel love, but I will take the example of my grandmother, who had cases of jewelry, of gold, of diamonds, and maybe that's how my grandfather was expressing her love to her.
Yes, but I do think in Africa it's
my grandmother was, like I said, she had like cases of like jewelry, gold, rings, diamond, and maybe that's how African men in general, they do a lot of I feel like they do a lot of gifting.
Yes, there were a book, I don't remember the name and I don't remember the author, I will have to make some research, but I'm saying that because there's this book, I think it talks about the different language of love and how people feel love. And for a certain type of women, to feel love was the gift.
And also?
And what?
In African culture, people don't necessarily say vocally, I love you.
Yes.
That's very rare that you hear that. So maybe the gifting is like, I love you, baby. I'm not saying it, but I'm showing it with the gesture.
We don't say it, but we show it. We show it by, for example, with your parents, you show it with how you respect them and you listen to them.
You got good grade at school, all that stuff.
It's from your behavior to show that you show them respect. It's also to
show that you love them.
Yes. Without your parents. I mean, I think things are changing a little bit now, in Africa, where people are being more vocal and saying more, I love you than before. But I think in a couple, you can say, I love you. It's fine. It's just, the rest of the family is kind of like a weird thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember hearing my parents saying that.
But they probably say, I love you to each other when they were
never heard that,
intimate. Because I feel like African love, when they're, or parents, I mean, in my case, they never show affection towards each other in front of us.
Never.
It's like it's so taboo, so I've never seen my parents being affectionate, kissing or holding. Everything was how they show respect to each other in front of us.
Yeah.
But they never, I think I've seen my parents
kiss or something like that
on their lips, maybe once or twice in my life.
Probably about the same for me.
They never hold hands. There's not even like a lot of affection showing, nothing. But it's cultural. You know, it doesn't mean that they don't just show that. They just don't.
I think the only thing I will say if they sit on the couch, like my mom will probably have her legs on my dad or vice versa, like things like that.
Us, we would no Muslim family. It's like no, right there. And if there is something, you know, like when you're watching TV and you're watching, of course, we were watching, you know, Western, you know, movies, and you know, and our parents were there. If there is like some just kissing, you know,
the gender
and
challenge.
we only have one TV in the house, and he was like, Chin, and like everybody's like stressed out.
They don't
even
want to see you see
Where's
people
the control,
kiss.
you know? And we need to get the control. It's like you're robots, you know. As soon as there is something, you have to change it because you know your parents get mad, and they get mad enough. They're like, okay, change the TV, put me the parabole. Oh, regarde le parabole.
Marc Chanel.
Right, yeah. So the paraboles were the parabolic antenna, so that
like
they can
satellite?
have the satellite that allow you to receive the Moroccan channels. I mean, all the Arabic channels and African channels. There were different frequencies, and my parents were on the, you know, the Arabic whatever, and we don't understand nothing. It's so boring. It's just I was like, oh, whatever. It's true. And you're just like, oh no, please, you know, and it feels like a punition, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. The gift, maybe that's how they say I love you. But
because I see in Morocco, women will love gift. Like
same thing in Africa. Same thing in Africa.
And when you get married, the guy has to bring you gift, you know. And
same thing in like
and
if
a lot,
you go to Ivory
not
Coast, Nigeria, the whole continent. I think women like gift, you know.
But you know, in Morocco, it's like you have to even show it off, you know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's like this for every
country.
No. I know it's on my tribe like this. I don't know this is very strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if it's a Berber things or if it's also the Arabs do that too. I've never been to an Arab's wedding.
I've been to once or twice.
From like Arabic people that were because
the
you
North
have the Moroccan
African
Berber and the Moroccan Arabs. They don't do the same thing.
Oh, so I don't know which.
But in my tribe, there is, you know, there's a tradition, and the man has to come, and it's very interesting because you see them, you know, with the horse and the carriage, and all the gifts are displays, and everybody can see them. What do you bring?
Show off.
And the more carriage you have, you know, and the more the people will look at the man like, oh,
okay, he's on point. Like,
yes,
he got
you
it.
You
did a good job.
You didn't give your daughter to nobody.
Yeah.
You know, because it's highly criticized. If he gives us only one carriage, you're like, Jesus Christ. Who are you giving your daughter
Take
to?
your daughter back.
Yeah.
That's not enough. So, yeah, we're just going to wait.
So funny because my brother-in-law always tell my sister, oh, I bought you for like 2 lamb and
because your brother-in-law, I guess, he's not Moroccan.
He is. He's Berber. Yes, he's Berber so he had to brought, you know, the things, but
he didn't do the carriage.
He's making fun of her. He told her that she was cheap.
No, you got a good price. 2 different things.
But
no. But yeah, like you said, I think in the African continent, the dynamic is still different between men and women, and I'm okay with that. You know.
Do you think that, you know, because you were talking about the African feminists, do you think there's a lot of feminists like this in Africa?
I think more and more because obviously, and that's what I'm trying to explain earlier, the fact that women didn't have access to school, education, and all kinds of things. I feel like now that they have more, and for those who are educated, they want to go for, when I say feminism, but I think it's not even feminism, it's about giving more women rights or fighting for women to have a better place in society as far as being able to have an education, learn a job, not just being a wife at home and bear children, you know?
Yes. Yeah, because there's so many, you know, so much things to improve in Africa.
There is a lot of things to improve for women in Africa. And
but I think it's more legitimate, though, the fight that they're having. It's more legitimate than, I mean, not that here, they know. This is gonna sound so bad.
I was about to say some people might not like that,
yes,
but
I'm sure, but I just think here, sometimes I feel like women, they give themselves pass on things, and they don't give that to men. If a man calls a woman a pig, it's gonna be super criticized. But yeah, you have sometimes feminists like, oh, this guy is a pig, and nobody says anything.
Yeah, no, I get your point.
It's like a double standard. No, and I think there's too much of that with those women that call themselves feminist. And
the thing is that, and I think here, Soto, and I see sometimes that on social media where, let's say, a woman get into a fight with a man, so people will ask like, oh, does the man can hit the woman, and if the woman hits you, those women
hit the guys, like, no, you shouldn't hit the guy too,
nobody should be hit, period.
Yes,
so that's the thing. So, and that's what I was trying to say, where we have to stop this. If you do this, I do that. It's not a back and forth game, just don't hit people, don't be violent, and violent is definitely not condoned. It's not okay, whether it's applying on women, whether it's applying on men, it's just not okay, period. So, I don't know, but
could still reflect on all of this.
Yes, but yeah, I don't feel I'm a strong woman. I'm a free woman, but I don't think I call myself a feminist, just because I feel like there's still a lot of me that's very traditional. And like I said earlier, I don't care about being a man equal. That's not really something that
Well, because for me, there's not even a question of that. For me, it's like, of course we're equal,
Yeah.
And we just
we have different
energy.
Yeah.
I have was born with the feminine energy, is born with the male energy. That's for me, that's the only difference. And we're both we combine to give balance, like the yin and the yang. And everything in the universe, is made of positive, negative, and different energy, and feminine and masculine energy, everything. And
so
for me, it's just like, okay, well, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
And I think that when you know your femininity, you don't need to claim it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think in Africa, we know that we are feminine. We
know that we are women. We know that we are appreciated.
It's in us. And there is no question about it.
We know we have value.
So there's nothing that can question it or put it into.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, I mean, whatever you decide to do with your life.
Yeah, I just think that women and men, and I think on that case, women need to figure out how to make peace with men and communicate better on both sides to be able to work as a team versus always working against each other. It's really just communicate, and everything that's wrong, obviously, yes, we need to fix it. But at the end of the day, working together, it's the key versus I'm bigger than you, I'm better than you. It doesn't change anything.
Also these genderless things, now they, almost like, I don't get offended because there is a bathroom for the women and a bathroom for the men. We shouldn't get offended because we say she and he. I mean, we're going too far with that BS.
Yeah, that's a little intense right there.
We shouldn't use what was it that the Senate
apparently
that
now you cannot say madam or something like that.
I don't even know. That was so ridiculous. No, I was thinking it was at the Senate that they were talking about not using some like okay. So for example, they are talking about the fact that they don't want to say that. Oh, I am a man of faith. For example, I'm just giving an example. I am a man. I with 2 beautiful sons. I'm a Christian, and I am, and I have 1 daughter, and I have a beautiful wife, and I'm a happy person, right?
Okay.
It would sound, totally, random to you, right? Mm-hmm. But now you cannot use wife.
Why not?
Because it's just like giving a gender to your wife, and and you might offend the people that are married to a man, like a man married to a man. I know it's totally ridiculous.
I just want to say,
you cannot
people.
say
Stop.
My daughters, my son. It's like you. And
how do you want me to call my parents? How do you want me to? That's stupid.
You should say I have children. I am a parent. You should say, I am a parent. I have children, and my partner is wonderful.
Y'all doing too much.
No,
okay, this is too much.
This is like.
I want to be called a wife. I want to call my parents my parents. Yeah. I want my parents to call me their children.
I want to call my son a son and my daughter a daughter.
If I have a daughter, I want to call her daughter. If I have a son, I want to call him son. And all that other stuff, I don't care. That's pretty much how I feel.
Otherwise, we offend. I don't know. It's like,
well, I'm going to offend you at this point.
But it's just so strange that they think that giving a gender to women, it's like, you know,
I'm a woman.
It's wrong. Yes, it's like.
Don't you see it? What can I say?
No, but now they can change it. Although we should talk about it someday, you know, right?
We should actually talk about that. We should bring that, and go deeper in that
and
subject.
How it goes, you know, with Africa. I mean, our traditions and you know, homosexuality, transgender. I think that would be interesting. You know?
Yeah. Let's get into this subject
because
next time.
This word is going crazy. I know that I'm not saying, you know, people shouldn't be whoever they feel they want to be.
Just get some boundaries. It's too much.
Yeah, no, I think the whole things of making everybody genderless because some people are not, how do you say that?
Comfortable?
Yeah, because they are not, I don't even know. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's just, it's weird that they want to make us a genderless society, a genderless clothes, genderless everything.
Yeah, that's
when naturally we're made with a gender.
We are.
But now they want to take off the feminine and masculine. And I don't know. This is, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should go to Mars once, you know. Maybe
I would love that.
Elon Musk can take us there.
I would love that. Maybe they have a better understanding of all of that stuff. Yeah. But we'll bring that back on the next
topic. Yes.
Topic, yeah.
And guys,
don't forget to subscribe.
Don't forget to subscribe. You know,
drop a comment.
No, but this is very important for us, and it helps us, you know, to keep going with this podcast. And I really hope you enjoy it. I know sometimes we may have very controversial position, but you know that's the whole point of the podcast is to have your
agree to disagree, yes. And you know,
and also to have a reaction from you. You know, we want to hear from you, and we don't want to be like the mainstream media because I think there is a narrative. You know, you watch TV nowadays, and it's either you're left or you're right, and it's just in the middle. And there's no real conversation about how we actually really feel, you know?
No, because now and then, if you do have an opinion, people are going to point the finger at you and say...
and people are so scared to say what they think.
They think because they're scared of being canceled.
Yes. And I think we're moderate. I don't think we're extreme in anything, you know?
I just think we have an opinion.
Maybe you can tell
us
because I don't feel like I am... an extreme, I don't think at all.
Well, I have to say, as a French citizen, we are very opinionated. Some people might not like that, but at the end of the day, I feel like if we are in free country and if you have a freedom of speech, that means everybody should be able to
say what they think,
how they feel without being canceled and without being, you know, pointing the finger out.
However, I have to point out, and I think that's what people forget, your freedom ends when the freedom of others starts.
Facts.
Meaning that, of course, you're free to say whatever you want, but don't go offend other people. You know, I understand that they have their freedom as well, and that we need to find boundaries. You know,
boundaries.
Boundaries. No, because some people just say whatever to just say whatever, and sometimes can be really offended, and they shouldn't. You know, things should not be said this way. You know, you can always say your piece in a nice
and being respectful.
Yes, exactly. And I hope we came across this way. So guys, please, you know, subscribe, comment, and don't forget to like. And we would love to see you next time. So please stay in touch with us, and we will see you next week.
See you.
Did you ever talk to your mom?
No.
Your boyfriend?
We don't need more detail.
Maybe show interest to you in a way that you felt uncomfortable with. I feel like there's this trend of being a victim. BBL. big black girl.
Well, I guess if you know what that means, if you can help us, just drop it.
You know, they sexually harass you. Okay, they maybe show interest to you in a way that you felt uncomfortable with.
When you say, "Hey, I was raised by a Jehovah's Witness mother," oh yeah,
keep it wet. That we get it.
We get that part. And for me, I never really asked myself that question.